This summer, I set myself a simple challenge. Starting from scratch, using none of my own equipment, I gave myself a budget of just £100 to go on a 2-week bikepacking adventure in the UK. That £100 would have to cover finding a bike, getting all the equipment I'd need, covering my food and all costs for 2 weeks of cycling, and getting home at the end of the trip. In the last video, I built a bicycle touring setup from scraps and DIY, spending just £15.50 all up. But the real challenge was still to come, as I set out to pedal my scrapyard setup the full length of the UK.
So I made it to the start line. I'm here in Brighton, just outside Brighton Pier, and this is where the trip starts. I have in my hands all the money that I have for this entire trip. After sourcing a bike, sourcing all of the equipment, and buying a return flight back from Inverness in exactly 2 weeks from today, I have a grand total of £43.10, which is all the spending money I have for 2 weeks of cycling the full length of Britain. I'm honestly a little bit terrified. Part of me is really afraid that this bike is just going to seize up and collapse within the first 10 minutes, or all the bags are going to fall off. I truly don't know what's going to happen with this one. I think there is a very real chance that this trip fails. Let's see how this goes. I am starting bright and early on what day is it? On a Thursday here in Brighton. And if everything goes to plan, in 2 weeks' time, this bike and I will have made it the full length of Britain, as far as John O'Groats, and then back down to Inverness, where I'm going to be finishing my trip. So fingers crossed, wish me luck. Let's see what happens. So first 10 miles are down, and so far so good. Got to say, I'm actually quite relieved. I wasn't at all sure that I would even get this far, to be honest. The main concern as far as the bike is that I am pretty sure the bottom bracket is already giving me problems. It is starting to creak quite a bit, and the brakes squeak like crazy, so it's super embarrassing having to stop. And I also have some serious concerns for the physical well-being of my arse, which is already feeling the slight discomfort from this saddle. I think another 900 miles of this is going to be a bit of an ask, but we'll see how it goes. Next challenge is going to be food, or I thought next challenge was going to be food, but I've actually just stopped here. And what I found is, luckily for me, it is in fact blackberry season. And yeah, not bad. Not bad. They're not completely ripe yet. So there we go, first bit of food, completely free, delicious, almost ripe blackberries.
As it turns out, there aren't too many calories in slightly unripe blackberries, and cycling is hungry work, so it wasn't long before my stomach informed me that something would have to be done.
So just had my first supermarket experience. Lidl is, I think, just about the cheapest supermarket in the UK, so I was on my way in to see what I could find. And I managed to find some bread for about 50p and some jam for about 40p. So I was going to get my lunch for £1. And in the queue, I was asked by a nice lady why I was wearing what I'm wearing, which is a very strange question, I thought, seeing as I'm wearing completely ordinary clothes. But we got talking, and I told her about the plan, the project, what I'm doing, and she insisted on buying my groceries for me and also buying me some bananas that she was having. So I'm just in the supermarket, and this very kind lady has insisted on buying the £1 odd worth of groceries that I was going to be going for. Thank you so much. What's your name?
I'm Wendy.
Wendy, I'm Tristan. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that, Wendy.
Where did you start?
I started today in Brighton. Oh, it's only day one. And yeah, I'm doing good so far. I'm now a little bit under halfway, just past Gatwick Airport. All is good. I've had to fix a few issues, and as I say, I have some serious concerns about this saddle. But food is sorted, I'm no longer hungry, and so far I still haven't spent a penny.
With energy back in my legs, I pressed on towards London. I was painfully aware that the bike was much too small for me, and I was feeling quite a bit of strain in my back from having to keep up such an aggressive riding position, but everything seemed to be holding together, and I was happy just to be moving. I crossed the M25, and with my bike's very high gearing, I had to push my bike up over the North Downs before rolling down into London, where I'd arranged to stay with one of my oldest friends, just north of the Thames. Look at this man, he's making me a virgin mojito
to go with my not at all virgin glass of wine. The lower back. Oh God, yeah, that crack. That's not good. Oh, well, it's good. I'm gonna be more flexible after this trip for sure. Oh, that does not sound good. So it's the morning of day 2. Much better weather today, but you can probably hear it right there. That, I think, is the sound of my bottom bracket. So this is day 2. So far, so good. I was very lucky to be able to take advantage of, I guess, home court advantage yesterday and stay with my friend Lawrence, who sorted me out a nice dinner. And for breakfast today, I have the leftovers from his spaghetti bolognese. I have spag bowl sandwich, with apologies to any Italians watching this. I really wasn't sure if I'd even get to London on this trip, but it is quite a big boost to have made it this far, so I'm feeling really good about that. And so far, it's actually been a really great adventure. And this morning has been a really beautiful ride out of London following the canal paths, so that's been really pleasant as well. I did start getting a pretty horrible squeak or sort of crunching sound coming from my bottom bracket this morning, which gave me some concern, but I took it into the first or nearest bike repair center I could find, and very kind chap who I met sprayed the whole thing down with a ton of oil and seems to have sorted it out. It's not completely silent, but it's doing all right. So far so good. The bike is holding up. The saddle is definitely not my friend. My arse is feeling that. But the best thing is that I have a place to stay tonight in Cambridge, because through the website Warm Showers, which if you haven't heard of it, is sort of couch surfing, hospitality share, but only for cyclists. And I sent this guy in Cambridge a message, a guy named Max, and he's very kindly agreed to host me tonight. So I have a bed and should be an easier ride today. The weather's looking a little bit less dramatic and should be a little bit flatter. So hopefully it all goes to plan, but so far I am really, really happy. It's been a really cool adventure.
As I neared Cambridgeshire, the landscape started opening up into the rolling farmland that makes up a lot of the country. I started passing through some really beautiful villages. Growing up here, I feel I sometimes take for granted how pretty England is on a sunny day, but travelling through on my 1970s bicycle gave me a lot of appreciation for how charming Britain can be. I made it to Cambridge, where I was kindly hosted by Max and Julia through Warm Showers. They sorted me out with dinner and breakfast, and even gifted me an old pair of cycling gloves and a slightly battered cycling helmet. 2 things I hadn't been able to find within my budget when I'd been putting my gear together back down in Sussex. The next morning, I made my way out of Cambridge, heading north via some really nice cycle paths in the countryside.
So this is day 3. I am currently sheltering from the rain. I'm currently in the lovely town of Ely. Very nice cathedral. It's been a really nice ride out from Cambridge today, looking through the fens. Really, really pretty. And I've just spent my first money of this trip. I just spent £1.38, I think, on some baked beans and noodles for dinner tonight and breakfast tomorrow.
I made it through a fair bit more rain until the weather finally improved, and that night I got to test out my extremely budget camping setup for the first time, as I pitched my tent in an orchard just off the road. I packed up early the next morning and got back on the road for what turned out to be a very tough day.
So this is day 4, and I'm incredibly glamorously about to eat a breakfast of cold baked beans out of the tin. My body's still doing all right. My arse is very, very unhappy with the current situation. The weather is also not my friend. I had pretty strong headwind all day yesterday, and it's even stronger headwind today. I've just checked the forecast and it looks like it's going to be more headwind for the next few days all the way north. So unfortunately I'm into the wind and it looks like I'm probably going to get rained on again soon. But anyway, so far so good, making good progress. I've just had some luck going into a pub and asking if there was any leftovers from the Sunday roast. Got myself some Yorkshire puddings, which was nice. And I've just now tried to see if I can go into a few grocery stores and ask if they had any leftover food that is about to go out of date, you know, sandwiches, stuff from the deli which can't be sold after the end of the day, and the shops are all just about to close here. And I've ended up completely for free with 4 perfectly good sandwiches, all of which need eating today, and all of which look delicious, and all of which were completely free. So that is me sorted for today. Looks like I'm not going to have to spend any more money today either. So this is the end of day 4, and this bit of woodland I think is going to be the ideal spot to camp tonight. I've got to say today has been a battle. The wind, the saddle, my back, my feet, my hands, my legs, everything kind of hurts today. So it's been a struggle to keep going, but I have done another 100k and I should be able to make it to York tomorrow. I'm going to be staying with some friends there in York, so I'll have a bed tomorrow night and hot shower and hopefully a meal. So that would be really nice, and yeah, one more day done. Oh, good morning. So this is day 5 and I've had a really great night's sleep. I love camping in the woods. It's so much better than camping in the open. Got another 110 kilometers or so to ride to reach York today, where I'm staying with a couple of friends. Oh, I'm feeling very sore today. Yesterday was a real battle, like a real battle with the headwind, and yeah, my body is not having a good time on this bike. I'm having a good time on this bike, but yeah, my body is suffering a little bit. But that is okay, nothing wrong with a bit of discomfort. Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm looking forward to some breakfast.
That day riding into York proved to be the most painful day of the whole trip. British roads these days are in a pretty bad state. All the rough riding was not kind on my already very sore backside, and the god-awful saddle I was using was really starting to take its toll.
My ass is having a horrible time on this saddle right now. Every paddle stroke is really painful at the moment.
So I'm not going to lie, today has been a really brutal day, and God, I am definitely not feeling good in the undercarriage region right now. But for all that, as much as it has been a type 2 fun type of day and it's been quite bloody painful for a lot of today, it's just so good to be out here. Just so good to be moving, to be out in the fresh air. It's a really beautiful part of the country here, coming into York. Whatever happens, this has still been a great trip, and this bike is still going. So I have made it to the beautiful city of York, where I'm taking the day off today. I'm staying with my friends Sam and Emily here, so I have a place to just hang out and relax, which is absolutely amazing. I've got some pretty nasty blisters that are starting to form on the palms of my hands, and it's just the point of contact where my hands basically touch the handlebars here, and it's just causing these really unpleasant welts in my hands. It's really quite painful, and I'm not going to tell you too much detail about how my arse is feeling right now, but it's not wonderful. So the bike has definitely taken its toll. It is in better shape than I am. So I've decided to actually change my plans a little bit, because in order to make it to John O'Groats, as I'd originally intended, I would basically have to do some massive days. I wouldn't have been able to take today off. I would have had to have just plowered through, just kept going, and I would have been doing sort of like 90-mile days for the next few days to stay on schedule. And it's also about to get a lot hillier, going up into Northern England and Scotland, and with the gearing on this bike, it was just going to be basically just really type 2 fun, just not fun at the time, only fun afterwards, kind of miserable, all day, every day. Plus with, you know, the fact that I'm filming and editing on the go, it's just so much time. And that's not really what I find fun in a bikepacking trip, to be honest. I find I actually have a much more fun when I slow it down. And my advice to other people when they are going on their own bike trips, the number one piece of advice I usually give people is slow down, just relax, enjoy it, don't try and rush. It's not a race, unless you're racing. So I'm gonna take my own advice. I'm going to actually change the goalposts. I'm gonna change my target and accept that John O'Groats as a target just isn't gonna happen. And instead, my goal, I think, is actually gonna be Edinburgh, which would be much more relaxed, because I can then essentially halve the distances I'm doing every day, which means I can be a lot kinder on the body. Hopefully the blisters won't get worse, and my arse will be grateful for a bit less time on the saddle. And it means I'll also be able to sort of enjoy it a bit more, film a bit more, relax a bit more. And I feel like Brighton to Edinburgh on this bike will still be a pretty decent achievement. But it does mean I can relax and I can really enjoy myself over the next few days, which is, for me, I think the more important thing. I really just wanted with this trip to just have an adventure and to show that you can have an adventure on any bike. You don't need anything special. But anyway, feeling very good about this decision, and yeah, it's going to be a lot more fun, I think, going forward.
I had a really nice rest day in York, and Sam and Emily helped me sort out a few things to make life easier, including giving me some leftover loft insulation material, which I taped to my bars to hopefully give my hands a bit of extra padding. It was then a nice ride out of York, and I did feel a lot better after giving my body a day to recover. Now that I wasn't having to spend so much time riding every day, I was free to put more energy into the budget aspect of my trip. So rather than taking the easy option and buying more bread and jam from Lidl, I started trying my luck everywhere I could to see if any grocery stores had any more throwaway food, or if there were any restaurants that might let me wash some dishes in exchange for a meal.
I was struck out at 3 pubs, 3 grocery stores and 1 restaurant, trying to get some food without paying for it. And I met Andrea here,
Hi.
who's incredibly generously sorted me out with some curry.
Yeah.
And I've just been chatting to the guys here who are all amazing.
Yes,
But-
thank you to him, and everyone should subscribe his channel and comment, like, and share as much as possible, and appreciate him. He's a nice guy.
But anyway, thank you so much to Andrea.
Yeah, it's amazing.
For sorting me out.
You're interesting. I really appreciate that. Like everybody else that's trapped in a rat race, but you're actually doing something interesting. So that's brilliant.
You legend.
It's a American trip for you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
I was already feeling incredibly fortunate thanks to Andrea's generosity, and things were about to get even better. Whilst eating my curry, I got talking to John and Leslie, who were sitting at the next table, and they ended up inviting me to stay the night at their house nearby, an offer I was glad to accept, as it also came with a delicious breakfast the following morning.
So this is now day 8. God, has it really been over a week already? And I am just outside Newcastle, and all is well. Still definitely not pleasant riding. It's still pretty uncomfortable, but it's not absolutely excruciating. As a result of my day off, that was definitely a good call. The only kind of concerning thing is that I have snapped a spoke in my rear wheel, and I don't have the tools or the spare spoke that I need to repair it, to replace it, which means that I'm now cycling a pretty wobbly rear wheel with 1 broken spoke. There's only so much I can do with a Swiss Army knife and no replacement spoke. So I think I am just gonna have to continue, hope the thing survives. Hopefully it holds up. Anyway, so far so good. So I've just got incredibly lucky. I have just popped into a Greg's towards the end of the day to try my luck, and the absolutely amazing women here have sorted me out with a whole bunch of free food, and they've even given me, in addition to filling my belly straight away, they've given me an entire goodie bag worth of more free food. So I'm basically set for tomorrow as well. And for 4 free coffees that I can cash in at any Greg's anywhere I want. There are so many great people, and I've been so well taken care of on this trip. I guess the whole point of this trip was originally to show that, you know, you don't need a lot of money for an adventure. I think that's true, but the other lesson I think I've got from this is people are just so amazing. Like, give people a chance and they will amaze you. So yeah, thank you to the lovely people in this Greg's. I kind of want to cry right now. Absolutely amazing. So I am just outside Newcastle. I was hosted last night by Tom and Lydia through Warm Showers here at their lovely home. And they have put me on to one of their neighbours who is a bike mechanic. So I'm just about to go and see him and see if he can hopefully fix my broken spoke. So Chris has had a look at my bike, and unfortunately these spokes are fully rusted into the nipples, which means that it's not really possible to true it at all. And he doesn't have a spare spoke that would fit. So I am basically just going to be having to hope for the best. I've taken the old spoke out at least, so it's not rattling around, but the wheel is a bit wobbly, and hopefully it will survive the rest of the way to Edinburgh, but we don't know. So it is a ticking time bomb, but hopefully it survives a little bit longer. Fingers crossed.
I crossed the River Tyne into Newcastle, then pedalled into Northumberland, the final county I'd have to pass through to reach the border with Scotland.
So I am absolutely thrilled to say that I have made it to the Northumberland North Sea coast. And I think coming down the hill and seeing the sea spread out before me and then rolling down to this beautiful lighthouse in front of me and finding these benches was actually this would be probably my favorite moment of the trip so far. It just feels so great to have somehow made it on this bicycle all the way from the south coast in Brighton up to the far top northeast part of England. Memories like this, moments like this, you know, they stay with you for the rest of your life. But yeah, from here, it's really, really easy. I just have to keep the sea to my right and cycle north, follow the coast around all the way to Edinburgh over the next few days. What with the rear wheel getting wobblier and wobblier by the mile, and with the various injuries I've got, I think that's going to be a perfect place to finish, despite the headwind, which I'm going to be facing the entire way around, because I have had headwind literally every single day of this trip, and it's going to continue, I think, for the remainder as well. But yeah, just feeling very happy and really pleased that I did decide to do this trip, because it has been absolutely awesome.
I started making my way around the coast, but I was almost out of food again, and it wasn't long before I started getting hungry.
Currently trying my luck in yet another pub around about 2-3 o'clock when the food is nearly done. See if there's any chance they have any leftovers. Sadly, no luck, but it is a numbers game. You just have to keep trying. Just struck out at the second pub restaurant of the day. Strike 3. That is strike 4 and strike 5 for today.
So after striking out 7 times today looking for free food, 8th time is the charm, and I've ended up with this absolute bounty. God, people are amazing. I can't wait to eat this absolute feast and drink the 2 beers that I've been given. Oh, what a result.
As it turned out, Northumberland would prove to have some of the nicest people in the whole country. It was getting towards the end of the day, and I'd stopped to admire the view when I ran into a local guy named Fordy. After explaining my trip, he told me to continue and that he'd catch me up down the road. Sure enough, 30 minutes later, Fordy drove up with his partner, handed me a bag full of food and drinks, and even showed me a secret spot tucked in behind some sand dunes, which would make for a perfect campsite.
So this is Fordy, who's just hooked me up with a campsite, food, cider, water, all the things.
Yeah, you
So,
deserve a bunch
much appreciated, mate.
I'll pass that to you, yeah, but
Appreciate it.
That ended up being my favourite camping spot of the whole trip, and I spent a magical few hours watching the waves break and the birds bank and glide on the wind. The next morning was bright and the sun was shining as I continued along the Coast and Castle cycle route, a 192-mile route that runs all the way from Newcastle around the coast to Edinburgh. The riding was easy, the scenery was beautiful, and I'd highly recommend the Coast and Castle cycle route to anyone looking for a friendly introduction into bicycle adventures in the UK.
So I've just been given a free bacon sandwich and a free coffee on day 10, day 11? What day am I on? I think I'm day 10. God, it's been too long and I can't even remember which day it is. But yeah, some lovely ladies just gave me a bacon sandwich and a coffee in this lovely little cafe. First time today. Yesterday it was 1 out of 8, I think was my hit rate. Today it's 1 out of 1 so far. When I set out on this thing, I thought it would be maybe washing dishes, mowing lawns. The whole idea was to try and give something back in exchange for a meal. But actually, people don't really need their dishes washed, I guess. Most people running businesses have it under control, it seems like. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of food waste, which is also a really good thing. Most of it's taken care of or it's given to charity. But instead, just human kindness has been what's kept me going, what's carried me through this. So many kind, generous people that have just sorted me out day after day, to the point where, yeah, I mean, this is day, I think we're gonna say day 10, and I did get some bread today. That was 55p, so there are £2.93, I think. I'm gonna have to sit down and work it out, but yeah, about that. For 10 days of cycling the length of Britain, which is wild. I mean, what can you get for £2.93? I mean, that's crazy cheap. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing was supposed to be about cheap travel, budget adventures, but instead, I think the moral I'm taking away from this is don't give up. People are amazing. There's so many good people in the world, and it's so easy to get down over the state of the world. But actually, There are so many great people out there. So many great people. So yeah, anyway, thank you again to everybody that's helped me on this trip. I love you. Thank you for being amazing. So if all goes to plan, this is going to be my last night in England. And I'll be crossing the border into Scotland sometime tomorrow morning, I guess. Shouldn't be too late. 2 more days. That feels really surreal to say, but yeah, 2 more days and this is all going to be over. But yeah, Northumberland has been absolutely incredible. My family is actually from up here. My English side of the family is from Northumberland, and it's making me very happy to see how amazing the people are up here. Good morning. This is the last day in England, which is crazy. I had a great night's sleep and I'm packing up pretty early today because it looks quite ominous. The sky is looking very dark and it's been quite blustery this morning, and it is looking, according to the forecast, like quite a lot of rain is going to be coming down this morning. So I've decided to get up early, pack up and try and get to the last town in England, Berwick-upon-Tweed, before the downpour hits. So this is going to be the last day in England and the penultimate day of this trip. Incredible.
I made a very wet entrance into Berwick-upon-Tweed and found my way to a wonderful cafe, which a few people I'd met along the way had already suggested I visit, and where the manager immediately offered to sort me out with a full English breakfast on the house. I didn't know it at the time, but that was to be my last proper meal of the trip, as Scotland was about to throw a curveball which would shake up my plans for the finish.
That's a bloody storm warning. So I was in Greggs. I was given these free coffee vouchers by the lovely lady at the Greggs just outside Newcastle. And I thought, I don't really need coffee as much as I need food. So I was able to successfully negotiate trading a couple of free coffee vouchers with some food with a member of the public. And I was chatting to this couple who traded me the vouchers, and they actually were the ones that told me that there is a amber warning for wind across pretty much all of Scotland. There are going to be gusts up to about 70 miles an hour forecast starting tomorrow. And it's going to be straight into my face coming from where I'm going, going to be ridiculous headwind. And I mean, cycling into a storm, it's just a really dumb idea. So there's no way I'm going to be cycling tomorrow. And there's no way that my tent will survive that storm either. And I don't think I have anywhere to stay between here and there. So I think what this means is that my best option is actually going to be to try and reach Edinburgh and just grind it out today. I still have quite a long way to go. I mean, I probably have another nearly 70 miles and it's currently just after midday. So I have to do about 70 or 65, 70 miles. So I'm going to have to grind into a strong headwind all day today. It's going to be absolutely brutal. So I don't know, I don't think I have much choice though. I'm just gonna have to do my best. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'm gonna have to just go for it. Hopefully the bike holds together, hopefully I hold together, because I now have a really big day ahead of me. It's gonna be the biggest day of the trip, actually, and quite a lot of climbing too. So it's gonna be a big day, but I think that's the only smart thing to do right now with this wind, which means one way or another, this trip is gonna be over by the end of the day. This is gonna be day 11, the final day. Because day 12 is going to be a complete write-off and probably the start of day 13 with the weather. And that doesn't give me enough time to get any further than Edinburgh anyway. So Edinburgh is the finish line. Okay, come on Tristan, we got this. Wish me luck.
The last 70 miles were a battle. The headwind, the bike, the muscle ache, the sores and the blisters. But it was also really beautiful. And to be honest, I was kind of enjoying the added drama that the storm had brought to my little adventure. Pushing yourself, doing hard things, there's something really important about stepping out of your comfort zone and just seeing what happens. It was a long and difficult day, but in the end, I arrived at my friend's place in Edinburgh at around sunset. And just like that, I was done. I took a couple of rest days in Edinburgh whilst the storm raged, making arrangements for the long journey home. I'd made the decision early in the planning process that I'd be donating the bike and all of the gear at the end of the trip, and it was easy enough to find somebody to give the bike to, though I felt a little sad to watch it disappear around the corner with its new owner. I donated the rest of the gear to a charity shop, then used some of my remaining budget to pay for a cheap bus to bring me up to Inverness. I stayed the night with a friend, and then I was up early the next morning to catch my flight home to Sussex.